Toddler overdosed in Adams County. Parents charged in fentanyl death. Prosecutors charged a Brighton couple with 2 felonies Thursday in connection with the January death of their nearly 2-year-old daughter, saying the toddler died after ingesting 10 times the amount of fentanyl that it would take to kill an adult. Alonzo Montoya, 31, and Nicole Casias, 30, were charged with child abuse resulting in death and distribution of a controlled substance in connection with their daughter's death. A family obituary identified the toddler as Aviana Montoya, born February 17, 2020. The child died as a result of ingesting fentanyl, according to the Adams County Coroner. The baby girl's blood contained 10 times the amount of fentanyl necessary to kill an intolerant adult user, according to a news release from the 17th Judicial District. According to the couple's arrest warrant affidavit, the toddler cried loudly multiple times throughout the night while Nicole and Alonzo were still awake using and selling narcotics. At least 2 other people visited the home during that time. Investigators allege the baby was in the couple's bedroom for 56 minutes while fentanyl and crack cocaine were smoked in her presence starting late on the night of January 1st. Then she was left unattended in her crib for nearly 14 hours before Casias discovered the girl's lifeless body the following afternoon. Many of her cries were loud and sounded painfully forced. As her body was shutting down, Brighton Police Detective John Grace wrote in the affidavit after reviewing surveillance footage from inside the home. Grace noted that the child made what sounded as though it was her last gargled cry at 6:50 a.m. January 2nd. Officers and emergency responders were called to the couple's home on the afternoon of January 2nd after they reported their 23-month-old child was unresponsive and not breathing. Officers and members of Brighton Fire Rescue and Platte Valley Ambulance performed medical measures at the scene, but the child was pronounced dead. When officers arrived after being called to the residence, the baby had dried blood on her face, from her mouth to her right eye. A neighbor had performed CPR compressions on the child trying to resuscitate the toddler. The autopsy revealed the child's lungs showed leopard spotting from inhaling her own blood after it was expelled, according to the affidavit.
The fentanyl crisis in Colorado is getting worse, and today we learned 2 young people died from fentanyl, one a teen in Jefferson County.
The other was just a toddler, and Luis De Leon joins us with this case out of Adams County. And Luis, this one is so shocking that it was a 23-month-old child that died. Police now holding those parents responsible.
Yeah, real sad story, Tom Kim. Investigators have still not released much on this case. The DA's office says both parents, Alonzo Montoya and Nicole Casias, were, quote, participating in illicit drug activity with the child in the home before and after her death. The Adams County Coroner said today that the child's blood had 10 times the amount of fentanyl necessary to kill an intolerant adult user. As for Casias and Montoya, they're here in the Adams County Jail. They face charges including child abuse resulting in death. This happened in January. Investigators have been looking into it ever since. And sadly, this is not the first death related to fentanyl in Adams County. Last month, 5 people died in Commerce City after taking fentanyl-laced drugs. Brian Mason, the district attorney for Adams County, says these investigations can be lengthy and challenging.
Many of these cases, when we find somebody who has died from fentanyl poisoning, we can't interview them as to where they got their drugs. So trying to actually do the backstory to find out what led to this death, so we've got to invest in training, we've got to invest in personnel, and we've got to invest in equipment. Testing for fentanyl is very complicated and expensive.
CDPHE's latest data shows 190 overdose deaths have happened in Adams County between 2000 and 2020, specifically due to prescription opioids mentioning fentanyl. Tom Kim, as for this case, the parents of that toddler are due back in court on April 4th.
Well, we've talked quite a bit about fentanyl, about overdoses and poisonings, but a 23-month-old is jarring and very, very hard to understand.
The couple had cameras in their bedroom, in the child's bedroom and in their kitchen. Video surveillance also established that Casias allegedly lied to investigators about checking on the baby in her room throughout the night after she was put down to sleep. Neither suspect entered the child's room to check on her, according to the affidavit. During the interview at police headquarters, Casias admitted to smoking a fentanyl pill on the night of January 1st, according to the affidavit. Montoya also admitted to using fentanyl inside his residence that night. He told investigators he stored the drug, in pill and powder form, inside his room under his bed in a safe. Montoya told investigators the couple were trying to get clean and they sometimes used methadone. There was a significant amount of drug use and drug sales which occurred in the master bedroom for a majority of the night, and drug use by a male associate who was staying in the living room on the night leading to the child's death, the affidavit said. Both parents have had brushes with the criminal justice system. Montoya has a lengthy criminal history and has been convicted of felony drug possession, assault and theft, according to records kept by the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. In July 2020, he was charged with driving under the influence, child abuse that did not cause injury, possession of a controlled substance and traffic violations by the State Patrol. That case is pending. Casias was cited for misdemeanor driving under the influence in 2017 and later pleaded guilty, CBI records show. Spokeswomen for the Colorado Department of Human Services and Adams County declined to say Thursday whether the family previously had been involved with Child Protective Services. Family members of Casias and Montoya could not be reached immediately. Casias and Montoya are being held at the Adams County Jail.